my name is Björn. I work as a marketing manager for Food Safety Exchange. Today I have the great pleasure to welcome Chryssa from the IFS. Hey Chryssa, how are you?
Hello, Björn.
So Chryssa, thanks for participating in this interview. First of all, can you introduce yourself briefly and give us an insight into your work at the IFS, please?
Yes, sure. So hello everybody, my name is Chryssa Dimitriadis and I'm working at IFS since now 5 years. I am head of standard management and the IFS food standard manager. In a few words, IFS is a private standard owner and the IFS food standard is the main standard for food safety and quality. We are working with different stakeholders who are members from retailers, industry, and also some representative of certification bodies. And altogether, we are deciding on the new versions of the standards in regards to the requirements of an IFS assessment. The final decisions are taken always during the International Technical Committee, which are meetings that are taking place 4 times per year, and in which we have representatives from mainly France, Germany, Italy, and Spain. And it is very important for us in IFS to get the opinions of the stakeholders in order to create requirements that are suitable to the current situation in the field and also to the different expectations, for example, the retailers may have in regards to quality or specifications.
Mm-hmm. Wow, thank you very much. So, Chryssa, implementing a food safety culture is becoming increasingly important for more and more companies. How would you describe the current situation?
Thank you. I think this is an interesting question. Recently, as people may already know, in the European Union, there was a regulation adopted that is asking the food business operators to establish and provide evidence that they have implemented a food safety culture. In Food version 7 checklist, we have added 2 requirements into the senior management chapter about the corporate policy and the management review. And the main benefits of it are, first of all, to protect the consumer by reducing recalls, for example. This is also an important point to attain customer trust and reduce, on the other hand, customer complaints, to grow employee trust and commitment, and also to drive continuous improvement in the internal processes. So if I had to describe the current situation, I think there are 2 types of companies. They are those that had it already implemented and that are convinced of the importance to get all employees involved in the mission of the food safety in their company. And there are also some that are somehow discovering it. They need to formalize it within their systems, as now it is becoming a regulation by law and also required, for example, in the IFS checklist. So as it is said in the definition, it's all about culture, and culture needs time to be understood by everyone, and also the role of the top management is really important into this.
Yeah, I fully understand. Interesting. Yeah. So, Chryssa, the IFS says, for example, that companies that take food safety culture commitment seriously are likely to have a better audit outcome. What do auditors look for when it comes to food safety culture?
That is really exactly true. And this is even more true when we talk about unannounced assessment. And as you know, in version 7, we are asking that one assessment every 3 years needs to be unannounced. So this is even more important to implement. If the whole team is committed to it by being trained, communicating about food safety policies and responsibilities, they are even more prepared during an unannounced assessment and also during, for example, a crisis situation within a food company. So when an IFS auditor is performing an IFS food assessment, he will first have to assess if there is commitment from the senior management by checking if this is implemented in the corporate policy and also if it's reviewed during the management review. If I could give you some examples of questions the auditor may ask, these are some of them. For example, if the company has implemented a proper communication, if they have a training planned within their teams, or a system to collect the employee feedback about food safety related issues, how they measure the performance, what are the different objectives that are coming from the senior management they have implemented. Other example of questions, if it's addressed in the corporate policy, how, and if this is communicated to the employees. And also, I would say, if the senior management is reviewing these objectives and how often, because this is important to have a review on a regular basis.
So it really becomes clear that food safety culture is a very, very crucial topic. So
Exactly.
What advice would you give to companies that have not yet addressed this issue? Isn't it actually a task for the top management?
Yes, clearly. As it is now a regulation requirement, companies will need to consider it and to work on the food safety culture, to think about how to implement it, and is it well understood by the company. I fully agree that this needs to be, first of all, understood by the top management. That is why in the IFS Food version 7 checklist, the food safety culture is addressed in this chapter about the senior management and the corporate policy. So first of all, the senior management need to set clear objectives and goals and make sure that there is a communication to everyone in the company about it. And important as well, to give resources to achieve those goals, to be able to implement appropriate staff training, for example, to establish an employee feedback system, and also a system to measure the performance periodically. And one point which is also important and sometimes is forgotten, when there are some achieved goals, when there are some satisfying performance, it is very important to appreciate and celebrate success. It is key, and this enforces trust and commitment in the teams in the end. So do not forget also to celebrate when something went well.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely, and that sounds good. So just also celebrating the success, and yeah, that's I think in the end will strengthen the commitment to everything. So finally, let's take a look into the future. In which direction is the food safety culture moving? What would you like to see?
I think in the end, by having the food safety culture now in the different requirements, it is definitely something that will in some cases need a change of the mentality, and will emphasize the importance of continuous improvement in the food business sector. We maybe thought that everything is already well handled, but there is always topics that needs to be to which we need to work on and focus on also. As we can already see, consumers are looking into products with more critically for the several years now. They have more expectations, which are going of even beyond food safety. So, in my opinion, topics such as sustainability, about traceability of the products, the origin of the products and the raw materials, also about environment, everything that is related to carbon footprint. These are topics that I think will play a more decisive role in the future, and to which we need to think about. Of course, in IFS, our core mission will stay the food safety and the quality, but all these topics, which are in the near future, I think, will become more important and needs to be considered.
Yeah. Chryssa, thank you very much for being my interview partner today. It has been absolutely great pleasure talking to you, and thanks a lot for taking the time to share your experience. I hope to see you soon again. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your interesting questions.
Bye-bye.
Bye.